I think the Fed also did walk the sentiment back a little bit, saying, yes, we are going to cut, but probably the market's become a bit too excited. Look, it was definitely more than we thought they would come out with, for sure. But at least for energy markets, I'd say this much, that, a rate cuts doesn't necessarily mean all things are going well. If anything, it means that the economy is slowing. That means energy demand is actually going to be coming off a bit. And I think you can interpret it in two ways. And you can see oil's rally has lagged other asset classes. I think other asset classes are very much like, okay, the tightening cycle is over. It is. And you do see that oil tends to lag assets during the first two rate cuts, and then it kind of catches up.
Oil is down for the year,
yeah.
Which, again, you and I and Karen and all the other brilliant people you speak to have discussed ad infinitum. Is this a failure of policy from the sellers of products this year, or is it just the grim reality that many of the users, especially China, are just not using as much as they thought they would? Is it that simple?
I think China, it's a very good point you raise, because Chinese demand, the last numbers on refineries, are actually down quite a bit, and more so than we thought. Partly just driven by the fact that they're not getting enough product export quotas. It's a government policy linked to the environment. And demand has obviously come off a lot since the post-COVID opening. But I think one of the things we have actually seen this year in oil is the effect of high interest rates. People have destocked an enormous amount of inventory right throughout the year. I think that just means that balances haven't necessarily been bearish. And I just got back from the US, and all the financials are asking me the same question, whether it's an equity hedge fund or a macro hedge fund, saying, we do see the draws on the numbers, but the market doesn't feel it. But when you're destocking so much, there's always prompt oil available. And I think that's something to watch out for next year. If that destocking cycle is over, if we actually start getting the Fed cutting rates, the balances don't look super exciting, but we know OPEC is going to be very disciplined. I think compliance is going to be very high in Q1, more than people expect. And then I think the destocking ending, SPR is rebuilding, will actually help oil a little bit.